Okay, brush off all the cobwebs. Hopefully everything works okay. I have been, well, I have to do something about that cup. The cup on my arm there. I have to change the size of my image. Maybe I'll do that. Let's do that real quick. There we go. That's a bit better. Look a little bit more of a desktop, even though I look a little bit out of proportion, but that's all right. Comics there. All to do with comedian-based stuff. All right, what have we been playing lately? Let's start playing this one. Now, this is a game I've been playing for quite a while now. Well, when I say quite a while, I've got up to about level 20, whatever. Yeah, it's been fun. I've been playing with another player, Trev, or Trem, his online name, and he will join us along in the near future. We will see how things progress with that. I'm going to launch it because it does take a long time to actually launch, because it is quite an epic sort of heavy map orientated game. Not heavy on your system, more so a lot to load up, I think. And this is a survival game that's come out this year, I believe in January, by a game designer that's already in the industry with something else. I think I've seen videos on this. How are you, buddy? Good to see you, Bella Spade. Yeah, so it comes down to a few streamers have done this one so far, because it's only fairly new on the block. But as I said, the game designers that have developed this particular game have already made one that's interactive, like a survival. Can't remember the name of it. It's Empires something or other. So they've got a little bit of background in it. It is early release, so it's only a very cheap one. And of course, obviously, updates ensue. So we have our own server to have a bit of fun with. Yeah, it's just going to come down to I think it's more along the lines of building up and then taking over the land and then basically being the governor. But the only way of doing that is because it's so heavily guarded, is becoming a little bit more I don't know, dangerous yourself as an outlaw. It is a really good MMO game, but I'm not really in MMOs outside of it only being like in this case I've made a 10-player map, so I'm only going to go PvE for now, and Trevor's the same way. He only wants to play PvE, so it's really going to be more of an instruction on how to play it. It is reasonably daunting on how some of the way the interactivity works with building and construction and orientation and upgrades, as opposed to quite a number of other survival games I've played, which you can see obviously in our archive on both Twitch and our YouTube channel. A lot of them run along the same lines. This one's just a little bit different to all of them in the way the build menu works, off of improving on what you already have, from sticks to logs to stone to cement and that sort of stuff. So it also has a buying and selling element to the game as well, which is also something I haven't encountered before with a survival, which is an interesting addition. I think it's a good idea. So if you don't really want to have to build everything and that sort of stuff, although it is always a good idea to do so, so that way you'll have you know, a little bit more background to make more money. You know, if you start selling everything off to make money to buy what you need, you don't have the fiscal policy to continue doing that outside of slaving a lot in to do so. So I guess there's a few elements that you can use in this game alongside of the usual grind. And I noticed the last update to this game also incorporated a patch that made it less of a grind when you first start playing it. So you don't have to really get stuck in it. It's obviously a very big grind originally. So we're going to set our little dude up now. Hopefully it won't take too long in here. Skin tone will get a little bit wider, I reckon. There we go. Nice and high as far as his height goes. Reasonably muscular. His legs, too big. Upper weight will keep him slim. Chest size, I think, yeah, a little bit more chest in him. More like me, More like tram, more like me, more like tram. Yeah, forget it. Get about halfway. Waist size. Butt size. Can we spin him around? We can. See how big his butt gets. Woo! Yeah. Enough of that. Alright, we could be in this room for ages. Arm length. Arm width. I'll get a little bit more muscular arms. Forearm length. We'll give him plenty of length in his arms. Hand size. About that. Leg size. Okay. Can't see your foot. The stupid thing's in the way, so I'm going to go probably about there. So, head. We want an African head, Caucasian head. Oh, this is really involved. Let's go with a Caucasian 2. Hair swept back. Go bald. Mohawk. Let's try and get him. No, don't want the Bob Marley look at this stage. Messy hair. Slicked. Let's go with, yeah, that's pretty cool. Alright. That's the head. Voice. Fairly masculine. Let's go, yeah, that sounds good. Alright. Voice and gear. Underwear. Linen drawers. Tidy whities. Or loincloth. We'll go with drawers. And get a colour up. I don't think we need to worry too much about that. Now, flag selection. Presets. Now, this is one thing I didn't do with the last time I played this. I didn't play around with any of this. Oh man, you'll be here for a while. I'm pretty sure you can, I would imagine, still be able to. A unicorn? You could change it in the game, I would expect. Let's go with a horse. And pattern 2. No, we don't need pattern 2. We'll have the background preset. We need to change that colour. Don't know about bright green. Or like red or something. Yeah, that's better. Let's go with red. A background of a horse. We can make it like a bit embossed. Alpha channel. Okay, offset needs to be. Actually, put it that side. So we can put another one in. We can put stars in there or something like that. Unicorn, female. No, I don't want female. What would I press that for? There's a whole bunch of stuff in here. Let's move that ribbon, make it black. We'll offset that the other way. I'm pretty hopeless at this, as you can see. I'm not much of an artist. But you can't drag it around. You know what? We'll just leave it as a horse. Put the offset there. Wouldn't mind making it black. It's random, dude. Oh god. I'm good at this. I'm not getting nothing good out of that. Lower arm. Let's go with a skull. Let's put a skull offset. Nice fat skull. Oh yeah, so you can turn it around. Nice and big. There we go. That looks menacing enough. Let's turn the alpha channels down. nice. We can make that. How do you make that black? Forget it. All right, so battery at wheeler. No. Put gaming. A skull with 2 horses and 2 revolvers, you reckon? So you reckon put it the offset in the center. This is the other thing too. The server saves every, I think it's every half hour. So I spent half an hour just setting this up. And while that's happening, I can't do anything until it finishes saving. It does take a little while. A lot longer when you've got lots of stuff. When you get to like level 20 or so. So you reckon layer 2 and 3, make them guns. When you finish saving, any minute now. Yeah, I'm not one for flag design. Not one of my stronger points. Art and that sort of stuff. All right, let's do that one as a gun. Shield, Confederate flag. I would say it's going to be in alphabetical, right? Forearm, snake, line, horse, upper leg, face, foot, hips, spine. Oh, how about this 61? I reckon that'd be pretty cool. Let's make that nice and big around it like that. What do you reckon? That looks pretty cool. I'll leave it at that, I reckon. I just wish that background was actually black. Can I change that? No, I can't. 5. I just lose it all. I know, 5. Ah, that'll do. Group type, personal, mixed, communal, no. That'll do. Yeah, we've finished editing our videos. It's going to take long enough for it to do it. I'll mess around with it another time, I think. I think you can change the flag, obviously, in game a little bit more, so I think. Alright, yeah, let's have a look at the map. Pull out. Alright, so here we are. Now, from what I've been told and what I've been researching and what I've figured out, there's a train going around a line. This is a big map of where we are. It's actually a lot bigger than this, so we can bring it right down to the coast there and right up the top there. So it's a pretty big map of America. This little circuit happening through the centre here is a train. Now, the only purpose of the train is really aesthetics. You do not want to be on the train tracks. I'm not sure if it's really, well, I know it's a bug. Do not walk down the train tracks. There is a ghost train. In other words, you don't see a train come, but you can be hit by the train if you're walking along it. I found that out the hard way 4 or 5 times over. Jumping over the train tracks is a bit of a luck of the draw, so you can go over it. All it does is just circles all the way around. It is a little bug that does go into the ground in some places through trees and another and so forth and so on. Obviously the white track is an actual track, like a horse track. It's not like a very open road. There's trees across it and all sorts of stuff. This little area here is America. I tend to keep out of that area, mainly because it's just not something that I go towards until you get a little bit of extra stuff behind you. Now I'm up here. I always used to orientate myself around these 3 bodies of water. The further you go up, the more intense it gets. The further you go down, the less intense it gets. It's not a massive difference in forest, but it is very, use the word again, very intense forest. I first initially thought I'll go into this little island here, but that's just absolutely covered in trees like everything else is. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the coast of one of these islands here because water's always a good place to start. So I'm thinking we might go up towards that way. Now the beautiful part about this map system is that it does have the orientation of which way you're facing, which is always nice. So having one of these lakes as a start point makes it really easy for you when you venture off and you need to get back and you can't find out where your house is. It's always in the same place where you're facing. So if we turn around, you'll see that the see, I'm facing the other way now, so I'm gonna face that little lake there. I'm gonna go over to this point here, just see if there's a nice flat spot in that direction. This is how intense this forest is. We also have a hobo stick, which is incredibly epic. Knock down lots of trees at once. Such. We're not going to go stuck into that until I find out where I'm going to be. Hopefully it won't be too laggy for you. I've got it running through the Elgato, so it should be okay. It should be good on 1080. And this is also a bit of a luck of the draw too, because you can come across things that are quite nasty, like a bear or a jaguar or even a sheep herd. Oh, and there's a bear, so I'm probably going to die. When I first ran a server on this game, I couldn't find any animals for the life of me, let alone a bear of any kind. Now I'm thinking the bear, the idea of getting away from a creature like this is to try and go through the middle of the trees, because they have a lot of trouble trying to adjust to the trees. The bear will go in the water, we'll see. I've got little to no choice but to run because I've got nothing to hit him with. Yeah, he's going to go in the water. Does he swim that well? I don't know. There doesn't seem to be anything nasty in the water. Well, there is at the moment, but as in crocodiles and all that sort of stuff. I haven't come across it yet, but, you know, let's just keep going. Hopefully he'll lose interest in us. Doesn't like... Oh, so he's lost interest or he just can't swim. See him under the water. I don't think he can go further out of the water. We'll just sit here for a little while. And see whether he's going to get away. He'll go away. Actually, we're going to look around the edge. So there's a good flat spot here. Now, as far as finding the good place to live goes, it's not a matter of finding a clearing, because you're never going to do that. Well, you're going to, but it's not as good as the areas that aren't clear. He's waiting for us over the other side there, isn't he? I would hope he drowns. That'd be nice. I wonder if he'll drown. Nothing like getting a bit of leather straight off. Where was I at? So yeah, as far as building the place is concerned, just having a look at the actual ground and how flat the ground actually is. Orientation to where the actual train line is. Because what happens with the train line is almost a given that it'll always be cotton up there. And the cotton is a really big commodity early up. And I think even possibly later it was quite a heavy commodity, even at level 24 or whatever it was I got to on my other private server. So I'm going to stick to the fact that we need water, we need the train tracks, because there's also a good clearing to be able to walk around, not on the tracks as I mentioned before, but around the area. How long can I stay in the water for? Doesn't seem to be a drown mark anywhere, or a drown indicator. He doesn't look very happy, this bear. He's sort of just, he's moving around a little bit. He's not doing anything. So if I go out to the other side on the land, do you think he'll come out on the land and go after me? We'll see. We're at a safe distance, excuse me. We're at a safe distance now, so we'll know whether he'll come out of the water. I think he's going to stay in there, and I think it's probably more bugged than anything else as far as drowning goes. Being that it's not bringing any drowning thing up for me. I'm thinking across here. Let's have a look on the other side of this lake. Just have a look at this flat spot here. So there's a clearing behind it. I found a good one on a couple of them where there is a flatter area here where I can start clearing trees out. But also back a little further was a nice already cleared area, which made it look quite good to build on for the sake of any kind of farm animals and stuff like that. So we'll have a look up here. Oh, it's pretty steep. Where's the train from this? See, so the train runs right along the back of this. I don't know whether I want the train that close because it makes it hard to expand. I face the water. It makes the train line to the right, so it's more or less up there than anywhere else. Let's have a look up in here. So I hope we don't incur another bear or wild animal of any kind. The other thing also with it being on a bit of an angle, when you start, just like every other survival game, you start building on an incline like this. By the time you get to the front of the house that you've started building, it's up on stilts. It's very high up. which I mean looks majestic enough, but it's not very functional if you want to try and have a forward and a rear entrance, which is always a good idea too, so that you'll get in and out of the place. If you've got, like that bear comes up behind your house, you'll at least be able to run around the front, get a bit of a head start and lock yourself in the house for a while until he loses interest. So it's just a matter of, it's getting dark now, so that makes it even harder to try and find anywhere to find some place to build. I don't know, I'm not really satisfied with that area there. What have we got over there? That looks like an animal of some kind. Yeah, that's a deer. I'm not going to be able to get that without having sufficient armour. But sufficient armoury. I'm not going to be able to knock that out with my Hobie stick. We have to be really, really lucky, I think. I think the best place to build is where that bear was. It looks really flat over that side there, but I think he's still there. And I have little to no chance of being able to take out a bear with a hobo stick. Unless he's despawned. Let's have a look. There's no real way of going underwater either, I've noticed. Tab brings up a menu. There's no sort of downward... I don't know, maybe it's crouch. It just does that. I bet it's crouch. Oh, there we go. Crouch brings you under the water. Oh, you learn something new about games all the time. Did it come up with a drown mark when I do that? No. How do I know when I've nearly drowned now? I wonder if he starts gagging maybe. Now we've got night time. This sort of sucks a bit. I might just... Where is the map? I might miss this one. I want to go for this one over here, I reckon. Just see what it does. Over there. Let's go over there and have a look around. That's the right way. Yep. Let's go for a bit of a run. Run through the forest in the dark, he says. You just stop living? Yeah, you're right. I do think you get... Yeah, you do get a matchstick. I'll put that on. And number 2. And that automatically lights. There we go. I'm running into a tree. It's probably a good thing I've got that. This place is absolutely dead black at night time. Unless you want to turn your contrast up, which I think is not really a good idea. Good idea to be running around in the dark without being able to see where to go. So what are we saying here, Battle Spade? Point downward and slide. Oh, okay, that must be to do with the flag. You stop living underwater. You live in Adelaide. If I'm not mistaken, you'll be fine. Yeah. Whereabouts are you from, Bella? My memory's like a sift of. I'm a retailer, so faces are usually what I go by. I don't remember people's names very well. If you've been on previous streams, I don't remember. Southern suburbs. Bella, southern suburbs. I know a streamer in the southern suburbs over there, D. She's a hairdresser up Ranella way, but I'm guessing that's not yourself. Or you may have come from her stream, I don't know. How far are we off this second? Oh, we're going in the wrong direction. I'll make sure we're going in the right directions. There we go. Let's go that way. Please be no bears. Which is quite funny and ironic, because once you get established and you've got a lot of stuff, you want to come across things like that so you can get their skin and stuff. There's a train line, we'll jump over that, which is necessary. Oh, did you? My VR Subnautica days, yeah, it was fun. I'll do that again sometime. I've been through that about 3 or 4 times now. Where info map. Yeah, here we go. So here's the other lake. Even though it's night time, it's not very easy to see. Should be here somewhere else. So this is getting a bit flatter here. I do enjoy a flat land. Flat land and no nasties would be good right now. Well, then you're an old sub then, I would say, that because it's been a little while since I did Subnautica. I was going to revisit it when Sub-Zero came out, but because it didn't go VR, I basically got a refund. Once you've been playing Subnautica in VR all the time, you really don't want to play it in normal mode. It's so much fun in VR. Well, this looks pretty flat here, which is good. I think I've been here before. If I'm not mistaken, there should be a clearing behind this lot somewhere. What an intense forest, eh? Just so much stuff everywhere. Wouldn't mind if it was daybreak, just for the sake of stream. Now, that would have been also, Bella, when I was running a normal webcam too, as opposed to the DSLR that I'm running now. So, I will warn you, if you are to stick around, I am sitting on half. I've only just sort of got this camera, and it's sitting on half battery, so I'm not sure how long that will last for. Hopefully it will last for a while. So if something to go blank, you know what's going on. I don't have the power supply to fool it into thinking the battery's full all the time. As yet. It's only a fairly new piece of equipment. The other thing I don't agree on in this game also, and I know I'm probably going to bring up these things quite often, unless you know more than I do, there's no illustration on what time of the day it is anywhere. And at night time, all I can go by, I guess, is the moon. That big bowling ball in the sky. Because I haven't found anything in here. Tells you the time of the day. There's the map. Nothing up there, nothing around there. There's the train going down there. Catalogue. This one here, America, communication. That looks like obviously an MMO feature. No, nothing in there. So, it's sort of a little annoying with the fact you can't tell what time of the day it is. It's really good to have a watch or something you can check that with. On a lot of other VRs, they'll tell you that what time of the day it is, or you're able to build something or make something that tells you what day it is or what time it is. I don't think I've seen it in this game yet. Although it does look like we're getting a little bit more daylight, so it looks like the moon's going in that direction, so we should get morning soon. This isn't a large body of water, it's a smallish one. I'll just go cut a tree down or two while I'm waiting with my Hobie stick. So we need to start making some tools, get some levels up. Let's go crazy with our Hobie stick. Yeah. Kick ass stick this thing, I tell you. Doesn't have a very good chop orientation to value of how much wood you get per swing though. That obviously changes as it goes up when you start building some big stuff. And because of that, it does take a long time to get going. You're whacking trees for a while. A lot of sticks from one tree. We've got a bit of daylight now. Let's go have a look where we are. Well, I think I might be on the flatter side, which should be over here. The looks of it. We notice some rocks here. here. Seems to be the flattest. Orientation to where the train line is. Train line is there. Actually, I wonder how flat it is here. It's on the side of the island. Let's go have a look quickly. Because we're not loaded down by too much stuff. I have to say, playing it constantly for the last couple of days and weekend, I am impressed with the fact that it's only very cheap. Or reasonably cheap. Very cheap would be the word I'd use, but reasonably cheap to get on Steam at the moment. That looks very much like an iron rock, which will be really handy later on. I have to remember that's next to there. What's over here? Clearing or not? Let's change to our matchstick again. We can see. Choices. Let's have a look where we are on the map. Have I got the right place? Sort of. Go around a bit further. This isn't too bad. Yeah, look at that nice big flat area behind. Well, it's not really flat still, it's on a bit of an incline. Wish the sun would go. Oh no, it's actually darker. Well, that's weird. I thought it was getting to morning then, for some reason. Got the moon in the middle of the night. In the middle of the sky. Middle of the night. I wonder if it's worth having a look at the other side of this one. We're just staying here. The other side seems flatter. I'm going to go to the other side, stuff it all. Let's go with our gut feeling. Over to the side of there. Sorry, it's not very adventurous for you at this stage. I just don't want to make the mistake of building a house where it's just going to be a pain and have to do it again. Because it's not flat enough. Right in the centre of that other one, I reckon. Right ahead. Just there, I reckon. So a good flat area to start in. Front of the water, there's an iron rock over the side. Let's hope that respawns there quite often. That'd be nice. The other thing also, which is really good about this one too, is that you can remove pretty much everything off the map with either a hoe, axe, or a pick. You can remove the rocks, you can remove the dirt, you can shovel the dirt to make clay. Obviously you can remove the trees, which, you know, to a certain degree just means that, you know, it's almost limitless to where you can actually put things down. Just got to make sure that the ground is actually quite flat. So blueprints on the other side here. Blueprints are containers. Obviously, we all know what containers do. They have a thing called a stockpile. Stockpile is capable at a first level of doing 2,000 of the same stockpile that you put in there. So what that means is you can't put stone and wood in it. You've got to put either stone or wood in it to 2,000 pieces at a time, which is really good. So you may have seen it in the demo video or the video of the game where it has big stockpiles of it near a farm of animals and stuff like that. That's what that is. And of course, what's really cool is that it reflects what's in there on the top. So if you put a heap of wood in there, there's a stack of wood on the top. A heap of stones in, stack of stones at the top. So it's really easy to see. A stash, well, that's just another way of saying a loot box. But as you can see, the limit says 1 with a red on it. That means I can only make 1 per player. So if you're in a guild or in a multiplayer situation like me and Trevor, we can make 1 each in the same guild. But that's it. We can't make any more. And of course, a smaller case, capacity of 12. That means it's basically only capable of doing 12, without pointing up there, without doing 12 occupied container compartments. Now, orientation to the size of the actual unit is actually quite accurate. You can't put anything bigger than a bit of grass or some hay or some flowers, that sort of stuff in there, because it is a small container. Whereas this one you can put pretty much everything in. It's got 35 slots in it, so that's quite a lot of a diverse amount of equipment, as opposed to being all wood and all stone, which is what that's good for. That only takes 50 stone to make. Stone's actually quite easy to obtain in the game, whether you use the hobo stick or you actually use a pick. Outside of that, as far as building is concerned, it all works off of a building planner, which is really cool. So you can build the entire house out of sticks as a plan, which is not really costly because you get lots and lots and lots of sticks. Once you've got it where you need to, you can make this particular hammer up, and that is the first hammer you make, which can go from, as it says there, either to build and repair, upgrade and deconstruct. So it goes from, I think it's sticks to wood, sticks to logs, to wood, to clay, to cement, but don't quote me on that one because I haven't built it in game and my memory's shot. This is actually quite good, Hunter's Chew. That lasts quite a while, and it also tells you, well, gives you like a red splodge on the screen when you're running through the forest to show you where some animals might be, which is really handy if you're going out hunting. Also good to be able to avoid unwanted things like bears, which we occurred already. And the rest of it's pretty straightforward. You can see it says here weapons. These are all sub-menus. Now the bug so far, which hopefully they'll change, is that if you drop those menus out all the way down, furniture and stations and whatever else whatnot, you get this nice little tidy area you can go in between them. The only trouble is as soon as I get out of that and I go back into it again, which is tab, it's spread back out again. So it drives you nuts as far as being able to keep going back and doing that. First thing we need to have, obviously, is a hatchet and a pickaxe, because we need to do some grinding. Everyone doesn't like doing a lot of grinding, but it's part of the thing. No worries, Bella. Back soon. The other thing you want to keep in mind also is the wooden club. Now, the wooden club I built early just in case I got attacked by something. It's a little bit of, self-defense. I think it's probably got base damage of 5.3. It's probably got about as much damage as this hobo stick anyway, so don't bother with it too much. The harvest rate of that one is only 7.5, whereas the harvest rate of these things is 9, and you'll get up to like up to about 60 or 30, I think, between that in the high-end axes, which you can build through upgrades on different things like smithies and so forth. So for now, it's asking us down the bottom here to get 10 stone, 5 wood, which we're well ahead of, and some fibre. Now, fibre is obtained just by getting stuff off the ground. I grab the hobo stick, normally just swing it around wherever I can, and you get lots of it just by running around doing that. As you can see, I've got all sorts of stuff mixed, seeds and fibre and grass and whatever else, So fibre's not that hard to get hold of. It's not as heavily needed like it would be in its predecessing games or other survivals that are out there that are quite popular, like Ark. That needs a lot of fibre to start and continues to do so through the lower end of the level stick. So we got ourselves enough of that. What else do we need? We need some stone, and yep, guess what? The hobo stick does get stone for you as well. So let's go find a bit of stone. If that's one that we can hit. Some of these stones aren't ones that you can actually get anything from because they're parts of the map, not so much actually pieces of stone. And that's pretty the only thing you can't actually. See, that's a part of the map. I can go straight through it. Anything you can't do in this game is some of the stones you find that are specifically part of the map, which you're not going to be able to get past or get rid of. As you can see, if I hit this long enough, and And I'm clicking away. I don't know why I'm doing that. It's just a force of habit. You don't have to. You just hold the button down and just sit back and wait. When I first started playing this game, I ended up with my second screen having YouTube. I'm just watching a few YouTubes while I'm hitting away on a stone. In order to get enough to build what I wanted to build, because the reaping rate of this particular device, even though it's good to have it better than nothing, does take a long time to get enough stuff up to do things. It's like the sun's coming up now. It's got a nice little reflection of the sun on the water there. Looks like I picked myself a good location, because that means in the morning I'll see the sunrise over the water, which would be pretty cool. I love that about some of the survival games. Just little things like morning sun or sunsets and stuff like that. People put a fair bit of time into it, and not a lot of people notice it as much as I would, I think. Here comes the sun. As you can see, all the ground's all lighting up now from all the shadows. So I think we've got enough stone here to start with. Let's go have a look what we need to do. Let's craft one. So a little bit of a bug with the crafting as well, but that's not a big major one. You'll finish up 25 seconds in making this particular device. It'll get to 0 and sit on 0 for quite a long time, and that's just the nature of the game, I found. It does that with a lot of things. I thought that was something else, but it's just my hobo stick. It does it with a few things. Even at the other end, like you start building some big stuff like, so for instance, a lumber mill. It takes a good part of 7 minutes to actually construct, so you're going to need to be a little patient. So here we are, 0, still no axe happening yet. Or in this case, a hatchet. It's not quite an axe. There we go, done. So there was a little bit of a time delay there, but that's, yeah, as I said, not a real big issue for me. I can live with that. I've seen some pretty horrendous bugs in some of these survival games to think that was actually quite minor. So we've got enough here to do pickaxe as well, so we're going to do that. And of course we're going to put that up here. I'll have that over here. So I'm not going to use that as often. In fact, actually, probably won't use the hobo stick as much either, so I'm going to put that down there, that over there. And you can change it around all you want to. It's just my preference of where I find stuff. And second to that, we want to make is something to store stuff in, because before long you become what's the word? Encumbered, I think the word is. The other thing, just as a point too, in your tab menu, which is where we are in the tab menu itself, you've got all these across the top here. These are all shortcuts. You can use B, P, N and M and all that sort of stuff. So obviously M's map. N is news, so it gives you an idea of some things that have come up that are new, that have happened in this particular area, and you also go into a lottery. You've got the money for it, which money comes a little later. B is the orientation of how much what you can learn. We'll learn more about that as time goes on. All sorts of stuff, all the way through from bondage against other players, right through to your machinery. This is probably one of the most important tabs to be able to build stuff. And then you've got all the improves on all the stuff you're doing, like, say, for instance, improving on a woodcutter's research. And we're talking about how much harvest rate we've got. We've got 9 on that one. We'll go right down to the last one, and it's right up to 44. Now, it doesn't sound like much, but I've got to say it makes a big difference when you've been down there already. Medication, clothing and baggage, all sorts of stuff, and your house and walls you can improve on. You make the whole place a beautiful mansion after a while, which is always good to look forward to. So we have now got both the axe and the pick. So we'll use the hatchet. Stop calling it an axe. And look around. It looks like we've got ourselves a pretty good little location here. I like how flat this is. This is good. Let's go have a look inside to see where it goes to. Which will orientate where I'm going to put the house to. No real clearing, so I'm going to need to do a fair bit of clearing myself by the look of it. That's not too difficult. I know it looks daunting. It's actually not too bad. Most of these trees are a one-hitter, and that one's not. But we'll go to this one here. A lot of them just one hit, get them out of the way. And when they fall, all of it goes. It doesn't leave a stump on the ground, which is really handy. These are stumps obviously from just the gameplay or the way they've set up the game. If we go and let's go attack this tree again, auto attack would be nice. There isn't one. I'm just going to hold my mouse key down and we'll wait. When this falls, the stump disappears. And so we can imagine how important it actually is to research as quick as you can a better axe, because obviously there won't be as many swings to have to get rid of the area to build onto. Not a big area we need to get rid of straight away anyway, because we only need to have, here we go. So that's gone over and it disappeared. So all of it's gone there. So now I've got a whole clear area to build from. What I was going to say is that we don't need to get rid of a lot of area with this particular game. The area of the first block, I guess, or first foundation is actually quite large. A foundation in this game can facilitate basically 3 or 4 machines, so your house doesn't need to be that big because a lot of the machinery will go directly on the ground, such as a sawmill and a tanner and all sorts of other wonderful gadgets. And of course you can always make it bigger just by adding more foundations to it. Now I'm getting lots of sticks here. I want a lot of sticks because this will give me the ability to start planning my foundation and my walls and stuff. And yeah, sticks and logs on the ground, as you can see, is another thing you need to get rid of. So why not just get it out of the way? For the sake of the wood, there we go. So what we're going to do is going to make a stash. Now, I'm sure you can hear that. Loud enough? Pretty sure it's louder. I'm panting. Now the reason for that is because I am overweight. And I'm overweight, I'm talking about the game. Down the bottom right corner, as you can see, put that up. Well, you can't see it when you put that up, but you can see in the bottom there, LB libs, basically pounds. That's, as you can see, giving me an orientation that I've got too much on me. So we want to make ourselves a compartment. Whether we go with one of those first, I'm going to go with making a stash. And the other brilliant part about this interface also, which I'm guessing a lot of this is carried over from the original game that they've already been able to develop, is everything is movable so far. But be careful in the end, like the bigger stuff, it's a thing called deconstruct. Deconstruct will take it away altogether. It will not put it back in your bags. So here we are with that small delay again. Now we've got a box. We've used a bit of wood to do that, so I'm out of issues with weight, but I still have a little bit there. So what we're going to do is we're going to find a place to put it up on there. A lot of it's all to do with putting it up on the bar there, pressing the associated number. We're going to put this down by the coast, right about there, I reckon. And let's have a look what we can get rid of. So here's all of the areas we can get rid of. Box orientation, we don't need to carry these nodes. These things carry little surprises in them if you get anything. I've never got anything from them. As you can see, a stone encases one or more items. It can be placed in a campfire to crack the geode and free the items within. Quartz and sapphire so far. Now, I don't need any of this stuff in my way. Not that it's really heavy. It's just taking up a slot. If that's... what have we got there? Fibre. To get used to the actual thingy-bob. The icons. I don't agree on the cigarette thing. It's not a good idea, obviously, for the people that play it. And we don't need anything to do with sulfur or salt just yet, but that all comes from lots of different things you hit. I'm going to, however, make a stash for the wood pretty much straight away because you need a lot of wood to build with. And that, of course, orientates to a lot of sticks, and the sticks are there for design of the house. So, outside of being a fuel as well, don't get the wrong idea. Sticks are used for a lot of other things, but primarily in the early days just to design your house. I'm going to get rid of all this stuff on the ground so I can start designing this house to speak of. The stumps and whatever else have you. Just go a little crazy. And as you can see, I'm already overweight again, so I'm making a lot of noise. I might just pop a couple of... I'm just double clicking, by the way, just to get that in there. get that off me so I can move around a bit better. I'm going to put my house right in front of the stash. It looks pretty flat. It's just going to take a little bit of clearing, that's all. Now the other thing you might notice down the bottom right corner of my screen is just there's a piece of meat and there's also what looks like a tier of water. The water is really easy to get in this game. You just go into the lake there and wait for a while. Some are saying hit E. I don't think it makes it any quicker, but you know, that might be an early patch, I don't know. And the food, well, that's the biggest question mark. Everyone gets stuck on a lot because there's no real, what's the word? There's no real illustration or, I don't know. Nothing tells you what you can and can't eat in the game until you eat it. Or you attempt to try and eat it. You know, you can't eat stones, you can't eat wood, obviously. However, what you can eat is mushrooms, early. Just going to get this out of the way. Still clicking. I'm not sure why I'm clicking still. Hold the button. Get rid of all this. A big stump on the ground that I haven't noticed. It's been a bit like an iceberg. There's more underground than there is above. And the more you work, the more thirsty and hungry you get. Obviously, that's I guess a realistic thing that just happens. There we go. Got rid of that. So what we need to do here is I'm going to get rid of this wood that I've got on me until I get this pretty much full before I do any more. Now I'm going to go out in the water so you can see that the drop becomes blue. There we go. That means and it's disappeared, which means I've got enough. Food wise, early days you got basically no choice until, or if you're lucky, something's dead nearby. But food. The mushrooms that you can eat in here look very much like just stones on the ground, but they're not quite the same colour. A nightmare at night time to find, and usually when you find one, you find quite a few others. So I'm going to go up into this little, a lot of them in clearings, more so. Look a little bit like those stones, but they're not them ones. Oh, I leveled up. That's nice. And if you walk around with your head down, before long you'll see a little icon saying pick up, press E to grab or whatever. If you don't see it, sometimes that could be under the underbrush. It looks like we are in a location there's not much in the way of mushrooms, or it's just not that time of the year. A lot of it grows, it's just all sort of left over. A lot of rocks on the ground over this area. I didn't realise this would warrant so much rocks in here. There we go. So here we go. Here's E to gather. And gather it. Get a bit close on it. Gather that one. Now when you eat, it looks very much like you're actually throwing it up. I'm going to go put it up the top there. Press 4. Put it in your hand. Hold your left button and eat. Crunch. Looks like you're throwing up to a certain degree. It doesn't affect your. Looks like my camera's gone. It doesn't affect your. What do you call it? Your hunger straight away. It builds up over time. So give it a little bit of time. I'm going to just kill off that camera real quick. There's no sense in having it there if it's not doing anything. I'm just going to slide it down there out of the way. There we go. Alright, so sorry about that. You don't get to see my handsome, rugged face. However, I'm not going to stop that from me playing the game because it's good fun. So, sorry about not having my face up there. So, where were we? In fact, actually, while I'm doing that, bear with us a second. I am going to put that battery back in the charger from the camera. I need to put it on a bigger tripod so I can get to the camera a bit better, actually. So I'm a little sick and tired of trying to have to reorientate this camera every time. Alright, looks like I'm going to have to again. It's not something you want to half do either when it comes to an expensive DSLR. Let's put him on charge. I hope we better come back to the game fairly soon. Oh, I need to get the power supply for it, that's my bad. Okay, now what were we doing? We got the food. One mushroom, I know it looks like I've eaten both mushrooms. One mushroom usually does the job. We'll continue on. Let's have a looky see. We'll get the old axe back out. That's the pick, that's the axe. We'll start clearing out a bit more. Just so I know too. Sorry guys. Cam. And, oops. Went flat. Alright, so people can see the fact that I do know that it's actually not there. Out of the ordinary for me to have a camera. Hopefully you can still hear me alright. I think you can do. Should be able to hear my voice quite well. It doesn't go through the camera. This has got a lot of wood on this tree. This will be a big one to clear out. She's up 150. There we go. 250 wood. While that was happening, all the small ones have come back. Let's get rid of some of the small stuff. Go back a little bit more. What we've got to do is start making that stash fairly soon. So as you can see at the top left corner on my number one item next to the hand there, the axe is wearing. We are losing axe. Go get that. Now 9 out of 10 times you can't do that, you can always use this. There we go, that does the ground. You have wear and tear on the axe. Obviously the higher the axe is or the better the axe is, the longer it takes to take the wear and tear away from it, or the durability. This is what's used in a lot of other survival games. Right, let's go dig in the ground a little bit here. Get some of this crap out of the way. Stump in the ground. Always fun to get rid of. Big stump, this one. So I'm still getting parts from it, bits and pieces, wood and sticks. It means that I'm not doing this in vain. It will disappear sooner or later. And again, this is also around this time of the, not so much stream, but at this time of the game is when I'm watching a YouTube at the same time. on a different screen waiting for this to finish. It's reasonably tedious. Now, being that there was an update on Alpha 12 to make it easier to start as opposed to a grind, I couldn't imagine what it would have been like if this was affected by that. This particular procedure would be, yeah, almost unplayable for some, because not very many people with a game would have that kind of patience to wait for this sort of thing to happen, you know. See if it's any faster with the axe. Oh yeah, there we go. That's a bit quicker. You need to experiment a little bit in this game. It's not an easy, straightforward sort of thing. You can't get much wood with a pick as you can with an axe. Same sort of thing in real life, really. But the things you can't get rid of on the ground with an axe, you have to use a pick. You don't get a lot of choice, unfortunately. Alright, you get a nice little clearing happening now, which is nice. This is only a small tool, shouldn't take too much. Now, when you get overweight to encumbered with all the stuff you're carrying, you start walking really, really slow, and taking a long time to do anything. So what I'm going to do now, because I've got regrowth happening all the time, I'm going to look at making the item that you use to make things with, which is the clipboard. After we get this one out. Have a look what it takes. Alright. So let's make ourselves a clipboard, which is what we need to do to create things. We need some cotton. Alright, so I didn't pick up any cotton on the way, so we need to find it. Now what that looks like is, I'm going to get rid of some of this so I can move a bit quicker. It's like a stick in the ground with a whole bunch of wads of cloud on it. So we're going to go get a cotton. Now, again, the load screen will tell you that cotton is very much present at the railway. So if we look at the map here, our railway is up that way. Because it's a little distance off, I'm a bit worried. There may be some hazardous fauna up here, but we'll see. What we're looking for is that, like that little cloud like that, but they're not the same. It's a stick that sticks out of the ground with them on there. Once you see them, you know what you're looking for. I, however, is probably running straight past them all because so I'm going to get that because we'll always grab a mushroom when you see one, especially in these early days. Here we go, I can see one already. Oh no, I can't. No, that's flowers, so there you go. Trying to show off and I still didn't get it right. Let's have a look. That's one right there, so let's pick that. Cotton is a big thing in this game. Nearly everything needs cotton. So when you're out looking for stuff, don't pass up a bit of cotton. Also don't pass up a little red flower. It's like a little lily flower. It's used a lot in narcotics. Just like in Ark, you've got to knock them out and then you feed them and they become yours and keep them knocked out. Sort of a thing. Let's go back to our little clipboard. There it is. We'll make one of them. And then we'll also make that thingy, that construction hammer. That's reasonably quick, that little doobie. And we need lots more wood. Oh, well, I think we've got plenty of that. We'll grab some wood just to make it a bit easier to make stuff. We're going to make the hammer. Not that we need that straight away, but I'm just going to make it while we're still in the city. We're in that postcode, let's do it now. Right, so we've got those two. Let's get out of that screen. We'll go to number 7. Here we are, here's our clipboard. So holding E gives you this circle. So you've got floors, walls, roofs, accessories and ramparts. Ramparts being little raised areas, little raised corners and stuff. So what we're going to need straight away is we're going to need a foundation. Now, you can change the tool when you're in there to stop snapping as well. Now, let's remember what I'm doing there with that. So here we go. Now, that's not the direction we want it in. I cannot, for the life of me, work out how it spins around. There's got to be a way of being able to spin it around. I would have thought. Let's try a few things. It's not going to be E and C. It's not going to be that way. That's going to give me an above view. That's the C button. It's not going to be these ones. No. It's not going to be the mouse cursor. No. It's not scrolling in and out. That just changes the orientation of the head, so you can see you can go high and low. Oh, sorry, that way or this way. It's not going to be numbers because that's just going to give me different tools. It's not going to be F commands. No, it's not an F command. We can go in and have a look real quickly on controls, but I don't think there's anything listed in there. Movement. That's movement for the person, I think. Strafe, walk around, call, ragdoll, combat and building. Here we go. Place, remove. Rotate, page up and insert. Well, that's a really odd one, isn't it? Page up. Get out of that menu first. And insert. Now it does the same thing as what the mouse does, just changes the direction of the floorboards. So let's go back in there again. Go right down to... Where were we? It's not the right one we're in, was it? Was it that? Pretty sure it was in controls. Yeah, here we are, building. Alright, Y positive, page up and down, doesn't work. Slab, move prefab closer, no. Change build mode, E, no. Up and down a level. Okay, haven't tried that one out. Change the variant, Q. Rotate positive axis, wheel up and down. We've already done that. That's the same as these two, just on the mouse. Rotation snap, left alt. I'll try that, left alt. No, doesn't seem to do anything either. What about page up and insert? No. No, it's just changing the orientations of the floorboards again. Get one more look real quickly. Follower commands, here we're doing that. I can do follow and stop and all that sort of stuff, which is really cool. So you can get a friend to play with you. You can just sort of go AFK and they can just follow. Again, scrolling down. This is for the gamepad. Miscellaneous, place a marker. Oh, now we know how to place a player marker. Left shift M, interesting. Okay, menus. Where is the controls for building? There we are. So we found it's not mouse wheel up and down, changing the positive and negative axis. Building, changing building up, level up and down. Left alt mouse wheel up. No, we'll try it, but I'm sure it doesn't work. Move prefab away. Left shift mouse wheel up, same as what I was just doing before. And it's just remove in place. So, even though there's many things you can build with this game, there's only one direction that it wants you to build in. And even if you go right around like this, it's not changing the position of this particular slab that I've made. And I want it to be, I would really love it to be facing flat with the with the water, but I'm guessing it must be doing that for rising in the east, setting in the west, sort of a thing, which is really annoying. It doesn't do that. Does the same. So does that. What about control? No, that just makes me squat at the same time. And shift. Just moves it around. The tab's just going to bring up another one, so I'm not going to bother with that. So that just means to me that I need to make my house basically where all these trees are, which is a bit annoying. That's alright, we can deal with that. The server's about to save, so won't be much I can do with that once that happens. Have a bit of a break. This game would be pretty good in VR. Be lots of fun. Don't think it's going to be any shortage of wood in a hurry. Here we go, 1, 2, 3, done. So we'll wait for that to happen. I need to get in there and change that. I think we'll make it every hour instead of every half hour. Or is it every hour already? It's probably because I've already been doing live streaming for the last hour. I'm pretty sure we've done it twice, or maybe 3 times over at least. So I'd say it's every half hour. There's a warning after this that says 15 minutes, so we'll see. Back in. Alright. Can't wait to make faster tools. For those of you who are wondering also, as another little bit of a tool tip, knowing who's on at the same time, simple escape, and I have a list of everybody. Obviously it's just me on this server. But that gives you an idea of who's playing. A lot of the survival games won't tell you that. Just sit here and go, I wonder who's on tonight. Just do a quick global. Anybody there? And that's basically it. Let's give ourselves a level. So we're going into the P menu here, which is this one with the 2 little people. As you can see here, this is my level, so I'm at level 4. My mental state's pretty good. Not real worried about my mental state at this stage, but it does say that I've got too much there, and my inventory's full, and hunger and thirsty, so it is on my mind. These are things that you can add to, so see I've got 3 points I can use in it. I'm going to use it in capacity because it's, you know, building stuff, you're always good to have plenty of strength to carry some stuff. The rest of it's hydration and food and other things like that. Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you play. If you like playing where you don't have to keep drinking and eating and that sort of stuff, which can drive people insane sometimes, but it doesn't worry me too much. I pretty much played through, I think, to level 20, 25 without having to improve on my hydration or food levels. I just gave myself lots and lots of weight so I can carry lots and lots of trees. In the end, it made it easier to build, quicker to build. I think after a certain level I started putting some health in because some of the stuff you had to get were away from the base, and of course obviously some dangerous animals ensue, so if you can get away from those and still survive, it's always a good thing. Armour and stuff like that, or clothing comes fairly late, well not late, but a little way down the track, as opposed to straight away. Not a heavy mandatory thing you need to do from start. It's just a more along the lines of aesthetics. I think the clothing in here is not so much you get any kind of armor rating from them. I think you do a little bit, but not enough until later. It looks better than wearing a loincloth, let's put it that way. Myself quite a bit of weight here. I'm going to need to make that stockpile, I think. Otherwise it's just going to get quite ridiculous. There we go. Let's go make a stockpile. How about a stockpile over here? Do I have enough equipment for one? Did I just go past that? I did. There we are. Not quite enough. A little bit more stone. Swap over to a different weapon. Something over this. And that's how quickly you can get stone. It's pretty damn quick craft. And a little bit of a lag. Not a huge amount, but enough to be able to go, oh, what's going on? Anything doing? What's happening? How come I haven't got my cache yet? And then, hey presto, there it is. So, we will go and put that down somewhere. It still needs to be a fair clearing for that too. Because it is a fairly big thing. See, now I can rotate that. Look at that. I can rotate it. No problems. But I can't rotate my foundation, which is weird. Alright, so as you can see, I pop all these in here. 2,000 of them I can put in there, so that's a fairly large amount. And you can see it's really cool how they've done that. So it looks like actually a big pile of wood. And as you get more and more in there, there's more stockpiles on top as well, which is cool. So you can sit back and see how much stockpile someone would have if they were playing this game on a PvP basis, I think. Alright, let's go back to clearing those 3 trees out of the way. Let's pick the right weapon. Get that one hitter out the way. Oh, it looks like a one hitter, but it's not. These big ones are a pain. So I have to say, I think rating-wise, as far as this game is concerned, even though I've only really ever made it to like 25, and I'm sure there's more to it than that, I want to just scratch the surface where I've been able to knock out a cougar and have that as a pet, and have a horse that I bought off of the market, been attacked by bears and all sorts of other things. A fairly high rating of survival in this one. I think it's actually very good, very well made. And down the bottom left corner of the screen, as you can see, is a bit of a red mark there. I'm going to say that's going to be orientated to connection, maybe. So I might have a bit of trouble with ping on the server. I may need to look at moving from Sydney servers to something more local. I will be, however, making my own server up fairly soon, as in location nearby. Because I mean, I have the technology to do that, but I'm just in the middle of changing some stuff over where I would normally have that at work to a different carrier, because the Australian NBN has decided to tell me that I'm going to lose 20 years of goodwill on my landline. Now I've had to redivert, and of course doing that I need to set up an instant diversion system. Long story short is that I have to change all of my internet over to reflect a constant forwarding number. So I'm not interested in doing, that's all going to happen tomorrow, believe it or not, so I'm not interested in doing that as a local server quite yet. But once I do, I won't have too much trouble with connection to the server like this has. It's the first time I've seen that icon come up though, so But that means they're having a few problems with the server, I don't know. I don't seem to be getting... Oh, I do now. Nothing coming from this tree. So I may be cutting a bit too long. Yeah, what's going on there? Bit of a ping issue. Rubber banding all over the joint. What is going on? Finally? Okay, it's gone now. Should be good to go. I want to put my first foundation down, but it's got to be further back, because if you don't start from the highest point, you'll start building into the ground, which is really annoying, because it means you've got a limited amount of area you can expand your house on. After cutting all that down, these have appeared. So you have to be pretty quick in order to actually start putting houses down, because what happens is this thing's just respawned quickly, and it takes so long to get rid of it. That trees come back. So I'm going to quickly knock out hopefully a foundation here. Not there, I want to put it right back here though. So we're just going to have to clear all this out first. Right about here. Okay. Let's knock those two trees out. I don't lose my axe in the meantime. He's starting to wear out the old axe. Don't blame it, it's probably done about 4,000 stacks of wood. One, two. Now these trees do, however, grow back through the house in some way. Not a lot, but sometimes they come back. It's not hard to get rid of. Most of the time they're just twigs on the ground, not so much fully grown trees. Back to the drawing board. So we've got more to get rid of here. It's all ground orientated by the look of it. Do want to make that nice and low. I want those floorboards to be sideways as well. So we'll go back to this one. We'll start getting some stuff on the ground. Yeah, not a lot of that around. That's a big piece of wood, so I'm going to use the... Oh, no, it's not a big piece of wood. Stand corrected. Big piece of dirt. I am getting wood from it, so... Come on. Get out of there. This one here's pretty good too. So much wood. Yeah, you chop that wood. Yep. I am a chopping that wood. The cam died Can't see my ugly face anymore, Bella. I forgot to charge it before I went to work today. It's my bad. Let's go to... No, we don't need that. We need this. Can we put something down here? Not quite yet. I want to put it right there. So we're going back to clear the ground. Self-roast, that's right, mate. One thing I'm good at doing, roasting myself. In fact, I burned myself doing a barbecue just a minute ago for dinner, so quite used to roasting myself, literally. Alright, try it again. Back at me heart. It will not let you build when you're standing in it either, by the way, which is sort of understandable. Oh, look at that, we've got our first foundation down. Jeez, I thought that was a bear, but it's a shadow over there. Did that pretty much all game. Alright. So that took no wood at all to do. So, we're going to go put some more wood away, because I'm so overweight, self-roast. I'm walking very slowly. There we go, 2,000 wood, just like that. Ridiculous. How much wood you get? Now, where's that thing I made? There it is. Now, if I made it in the right place, I guess I have. I'm going to go 3 forward and 3 across, so hopefully I haven't made it so we can't... Oh, I need to be that way. Just with the way that ground is going, because that's going into the ground over there. That's alright. That just means a lot more choppy chop. As I said before while you went around, I really can't wait to get a better axe. What game is this? This is HEAT. Came out in January. It is a survival game. Mean fatty. It's fun. I like my survivals. I got up to 25 in it, and I realised I should probably stream it because I haven't streamed for a while. And it's all I've been playing just lately, so we'll see how we go. Unfortunately, it's not real spectacular, chopping trees down for 20 minutes at a time, but it pays off after a while. Actually, it's a decent little house out, so it's fun. So we get 2 trees at the same time here. Can we do that? No. Sometimes you can be arsey and get 2 of them. Story here is, so far, I'm trying to clear out an area just to make myself a house. Have you seen it before, Patty, or not? This game? Never. Have you ever played Ark? Survival Evolved? Okay. That makes it a bit difficult to explain. It's you're thrown into a forest and you need to survive. This is more of a Western version of it. There is also another one called Old West, or Outlaws of the Old West. That's another one. A very light version of the same kind of thing. Too, but it's sort of limited, I found, to a certain degree. This one here is a little bit more free play. At the moment, I'm just going to put a foundation down. The foundations and the house is built via a a stick orientation to where you're going to put things. So more along the lines of how to where you want to put things in a stick formation all the way around, and you can upgrade that from there on. So this is a stick formation of where I want to put something. I've got to go back to my planner, which is basically just a it's like a clipboard basically. Alright, so my clipboard says I can make one there. So I'm going to go 3 across. We're going to go into that tree, and yes, unfortunately, it's going to mean I'm going to take those 3 trees out, which is going to take a little while. So bear with us. In fact, I shouldn't. Oh, I can't. I'm going to have to make another stockpile because I've filled up this stockpile right up of wood. Yes, you are. You've got just like you would do in the old Wild West. You have cougars, you have bears. I also seen with the Alpha 12 release, which I didn't realise, they are looking very carefully at adding bandits and you know, basically bad people, NPC bad people, which makes the game even more playable as just a solo player. It is dubbed as mainly an MMO. But not a really big one, just you know, servers that handle 10 or 20 people at a time. Now I'm knocking out some stone here so I can make another one of those stockpiles. Just see how that goes. Back into tab menu. Go down to, oh, that's already got start there. So I need 50. I've got 107. So I'll make another stockpile. Work a hell of a lot more wood down again, so I don't have to carry it around. The reason why I'm panting is because I've got too much wood on me. I'm overweight. Yeah, actually, when I got the cougar, when I play normally with another player called Trem, another real life friend of mine. He's been playing survivals for probably about as long a duration as myself. I personally put in about 3,000 hours into Ark, which is a very survival-based game in both PvE and PvP. I've only played PvE. I'm not really interested in playing other players that like exploiting. So I'm happy just to play against the elements. And yeah, he found this the look of the creatures involved on the game very well done. And I have to say to him, I'd have to commend him on that, because it did look like quite a good cat. It's fairly fluent, but of course, obviously, it comes along with other bits and pieces where you have, you know, they get stuck on rocks and all sorts of other things happen, which you can't do much about, unfortunately, until they neaten it up. And this game is definitely, however, a early release game, so you know you can only put so much emphasis on the fact that they've got to sharpen their pencil a little bit. No, the forest has well, not zombies, but what do they call them? Cannibals. You might as well call them zombies. This one has realistic enemies, so you've got, you know, horses, sheep, cougars, bears, and they're looking to add a couple more things fairly soon. What I would like to do is add this. Oh, that went blue. If it's blue, I can place it. Might do it from the other side. It's taken a long time to get here because I'm too overweight. That stash is full, and so is the stockpile here. It's 2,000 odd wood. Might get a level with the other one, but beggars can't be choosers, can they? We'll see what's in the way. That little bit of log there. Pop it there. They don't stay there. You can change that. You know, you hold that there. It says dismantle, so it will take it away, but it will not put it in your inventory. So be aware of that with this particular creation. Let's get some wood out of here. All right. There we go. A little bit of, see, that's a full one. As you can see, that wood looks a lot more impressive than that one. What I will need to do is I will need to make another axe, because that axe is nearly caned up here. So let's go into our thingamajobbergadoos. There we are. So we need 5 wood. Gee, where do we get wood from? I've got an idea. Let's make another one, because that's going to break soon, but we're just going to push it until it does break and then put the other one in our hand. Craft another one. The other thing, of course, also with the forest, I played it in VR, and it's a very good game in VR. Very good. There's a couple of other Aussies doing it. One particular Aussie doing a YouTube, thousands of YouTubes on the forest. A little bit over the top if you ask me. Again, just the voice, no cam. I've got no cam because my cam stopped. I've run out of batteries. Normally I would have a cam. To a certain point, so much so that he's just working on exploits a lot, as opposed to being helpful in the early days. So that's just how streams go. Sometimes they get too much involved with it, just goes forever, and it's just the same old thing, and more along the lines of what you can get away with as opposed to playing the game. But that's just it. Let's get rid of the stump here. Actually, I don't need to because I can't build on that side, so we don't need to get rid of that stump. We'll leave that. These 3 trees. That's right. The 3 brothers that are going to take me forever to get rid of. Let's get rid of that. How you been, Meanie? I haven't seen you for a while, actually, on the streams. I think it's been forest since I've seen you last time. I have to say though, when I got to 21 and I finished my house, when I say finished my house, I had nothing else to build on the house at the time. At night time, coming back from it down a cleared area, which I've made so that I can put my livestock in and stuff like that, it really did look like a scene from a log cabin in the woods. It looked really eerie to see. Here we go, going to defecate. Watch this. This is pretty gross. No, I guarantee you that wasn't me. That was actually the game. Very much like Ark that does that as well. And he seems to drop it wherever they want to. They don't come up with a defecate number, or in this case letter. And you can make an outhouse later on. Yeah, I know it's a bit offensive, but you know. And he does it every time, like just as loud and predominant like that. There's no discrete toilet things happening here. It's really enough to be able to hear from a next postcode, but you know, I think that's just a little bit of humour the game designers put in. I have to say, if you're playing this thing PvP, I would imagine that would probably also give you away where you are. A bit like having a special ops soldier with a text message tone when he's trying to creep up on people. Bit of a Nacho Libre happening there. Certainly it sounds like he's had a bit of nachos the night before. I guess the forest food is probably not something that's easily passed. Mushrooms do that to you, I don't know. Look at that, I'm nearly full on bloody wood again, just from those trees. And yet, the last time I was doing this, I was more worried about deforestation than anything else. Felt like I just about cut everything down with how much wood you use. But it all comes back, all grows back. Is that enough? Can I do it now? Get bored of it? No, not gonna let me. What's in the way? Probably this tree here. So how's your day been, Bella? You have a good day? Great weekend. We've got a nice long weekend coming up. Sorry if I'm saying that wrong too. My site is not what it is. I'm going to go closer to see what it says. Is it Belita? Belia? Belia Spade? Yes, yeah. I hate getting people's names wrong. feel it's an insult to people. So I'm sorry if that's the case. Get up there. There we go. I reckon I know it's going to be a problem this time if I can't put it out. It's that stump there. Didn't see that before. This one down here. I think part of the same tree. Spade. Well, I've got to call a spade a spade. If you're not sure, that's an old saying. I'm showing my age here. You get that from 50-year-old Twitch streamers. Just if that was your last name, sometimes people are offended to calling someone by their last name. Didn't want to do that. That looks like we've got ourselves another connection issue again. Alright, I've got so much wood on me. Just grown another tree in between time, we'll get rid of that. So one smacker. If I can get to it, there we go. No, not going to get to it because we are rubber banding. Wait for a while to let this catch up. Still got those red marks down the bottom there. Believe you me, that wasn't an issue before when I was doing a lot of building before. I'm not sure why it's doing it now. Let me just have a quick look. Nothing is downloading anywhere. No. On either. I think someone might be on Netflix. Maybe, oh, there we go. We're back on track now. Let's see how we go this time. Gotcha. The thing I do like about it also is the fact that now that's down. It's just a matter of the connection. Is that when you leave the you put that clipboard away whilst you're building, it comes back with the same one you're building before, which is really cool. I'll go one more further out, and I'll go forward now anyway. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to get rid of some of this wood by... should I? Should I? No, I won't do that. We'll go down and actually get rid of the wood. When I say get rid of it, just stockpile it. It's going to take me a little while to get there, so my apologies. There is actually an auto run in this, which is like on Arc. You can just hit caps lock. And now I can go off and go get myself a cup of tea and come back. We'll sit back and wait. It's always a nice thing. Change weapon so I don't have that thing up. Yeah, I wanted a bit of space in front of my house this time around with a so you know, if I can build something that's going to be like a garden in the front, so it's easily accessed with water, I think would be a better option than what I did before, which is having a garden behind the house, which I've had to go all the way down to the water, get the bucket of water and bring it back up. Which quite honestly, I'm not really sure if that makes any difference, but I did it anyway. I don't think you need to put water on gardens in this game. Don't quote me. I think you might do. I'm not sure. There we go. And that's all to do with the orientation of the stock pile. So you can see it's facing a different direction now. So if you have a little bit of OCD like myself, that would be pretty damn annoying. If you had more than I have, because you would be going, oh, well, I really wanted that to be facing the right direction. Especially when you're doing floorboards and stuff like this. you want everything going in the same direction, because it just eats away in your conscience. Quartz geode out of a tree. Interesting. Yeah, so again, I was saying before, you had a good weekend. What'd you get up to? What's the go? Spade, do you stream or just watch or just try and catch up while we're waiting for this thing to cut down? You know, like filling in a bit of time, a little bit of idle chit chat. I think my problem at the moment also is that I've got a lot of sticks on me. Oh wow, that's great. Is that your first child? Oh. Interesting times ahead. I really do hope things go smoothly and that you're both very healthy. My wife and I have been married for 26 years, 27 I think this year. And our youngest is 16 and just on 6 foot tall. And we've had 4 kids. Our eldest is 25. Don't quote me on that. It's a girl. The second eldest was another girl. She's 23. She's down in the southern suburbs as well. And the eldest is still up here with us. And my boy's turning 18 in the next few days. Another peep later. And we're organising the licence for my youngest one, who was 16. Who didn't want to be 16. She was so upset about turning 16. It's the weirdest thing. She kept saying, I don't want to be old. And I said to her, you don't know what old is yet, girl. Back to our clipboard. No, not quite yet. What have we got in the way? We've got a tree in the way. Is that a tree? No, it's a ghost tree. Let's go back to that thing. Let's get some sticks out of the way. Oh, that sounds like I've got a thing down. I've got a brick down there. How far along are you? How long do we have before there's more love in your family? It's a invisible tree, I think. Or is it? It sounds like something else. It sounds like a hit rock. Where are we? Yeah, first one. Partner is 17 weeks along at the moment. Partner is. Any tips for a dad-to-be? Well, mate, if it's a girl, start bulking up. That's what everyone used to say to me. If it's, and of course, obviously the same sort of thing, you might want to look at a rocking chair and a shotgun later on when they get a bit older. But I think it's just a matter that I've found a lot of people have said to us as parents that they feel that we've done the right thing. I'm rubber banding like crazy here, so I have to apologise for how bad this internet provider, well not provider, it's actually the server provider, pretty sure I'm going to be sending them a nasty letter later, on being there, just always being there for them. That's the hardest part I find. that a lot of people tend to fail with, or well, not so much fail, but they just don't get quite the idea of what they need to do. And it's just being there for them, really. What we found. But I'm almost completely out of hydration. What I might do, because this is a bit of a fake tree, it's not actually really there. I don't think I'm going to get through it with an axe. It's hitting what feels like, yeah, it feels like it's hitting some sort of concrete or stone. So I'm going to go down here, stockpile my wood, hit the drink, and re-log, I think, just in case, into the server, because I think I might have hit a bad bump in the server somewhere, if I can get to this thing. But I've got a feeling I might, yeah, I might, Groundhog Day. Oh, for goodness sake. I have to wait for a while. I wish you were 18 again. Yeah, kids do that. Everything after a while. I have to stockpile the sticks, I think. Anyway, let's go down here and bathe before I die. There we go. Let's fill that water up. Hitting E. I don't see it really being any difference. Anyway, that's all right. Nice to see that I actually have got no ping issue. That's always good. Let's have some sustenance in the way of mushrooms. Wish you were 18 again, mate. I tell you what, I'm pretty sure I'm older than you, and honestly, only as old as the woman you feel. As rude as that sounds. I'm just going to log out of here real quick and I'm going to go back in again, see how it goes. Yeah, I think it just comes down to, as I say, always being there for them, what they need as a child, and what they need as an adolescent as well. It doesn't stop. No matter what you do, you just have to make sure you're there for them. You know, that's what we found with a few of ours, because they all come with their own baggage. They come with their own issues. You know, you just got to basically catch them as they fall if they've got some problems. You know, the little ones, we just got to read them. That's the hardest part. You know, what kind of cry it is, what kind of issues they have. I must have caps lock on, did I? And then yeah, go from there. Caps off. There we go. And one of them's going to come in a minute, because I haven't streamed for a while. She generally comes in to say hello, so you might hear female voice soon enough. That's my eldest, just come home after a day's work. Well, she got sent home early because I think she was saying she was going to be working until 10, and it's only 10:15, so. And she's about half an hour away from where she was working, so it's possible she's come home early, which is always a treat. She's not much younger than you. And how old would that be, if you don't mind me asking? So we'll go with this. 27. Oh, wow. 27. Our first we had when we were 22. The pair of us. Here we go. As I mentioned, doors opening but nothing was said. Now she's saying something. That's the 25-year-old.
Warm in here, Dad.
It's warm in here, Dad. Yeah, it's always warm in here with the computer going. What you got there? No, I don't think I need any popcorn. Thank you very much. Here, Dan. And that's the other good thing about when they get to 25 years old themselves, they bring home things for you to eat. The only trouble is when you get old, it makes it very hard to get rid of it. It's easy to put it on, it's hard to get rid of it. Stay active. I did it specifically, I think probably 3 or 4 years. Well, in my case, I did my parenthood a lot earlier in life because my father was a Marine, a Dutch Marine that fought in the Second World War, and he left us very late in his life to have kids. But that was because he was a professional soldier, and it just comes down to your life changes, your lifestyles. In his case, the reason why, again, obviously war, not something that you really want happening, but it does happen. Education doesn't help very much when it comes to that sort of thing either. I'm going to hold E here, go around to floors, go on to that, and there you go. It's magically disappeared. Is that snapped? I'm not sure if it was. I've got to go up here and check. Yeah, so that snapped to there. Hopefully this connection will hold a little bit better than that last one, so we'll see how we go. And I think I'm building in the right direction, even though by the time I've built this last one up here, which I'll put down because it looks like I can already, as you can see a tree through it, easily gotten rid of. Bang. What was I talking about? Yeah, the sticks. I need to get rid of these sticks. So the sticks are what we use a lot more for obviously building. So we're going to keep doing this to get rid of the builds. We're going to need a lot of them, quite honestly. So you don't want to chuck them away because it's something that is needed a lot in construction because this is all stick orientated until you're ready to actually upgrade to a real foundation. These aren't real foundations, which you'll see in a little while. If you hung around, get rid of this thing out of my way. Don't do my eye in on this. Go out the way. I'll just keep hitting it there then. Oh yes, so yeah, as far as that's concerned, he had us pretty late. That's what I was talking about with my father. So by the time we were born, he was about 40 years of age. Mum was still 21. There was a 20 years difference between my mum and dad. They had a beautiful life together. We never argued. Fantastic couple. Never found a very bad place ever at home. It was always a warm and welcoming area. But yeah, so the only thing, of course, with that comes, hey, Dad, let's go kick the soccer ball. And by the time I got to 18, he was already 58, I suppose, or something like that. And that made it very difficult for him to run around. Wasn't quite as fit as he was in his military days. And so I sort of said to myself, I'm not going to go through that with my kids. I'm going to have them early. My wife was in agreement with that. We had our kids early. And yeah, I'm able to play with them a bit better, I think, and be there for them and stuff. So I'm not blaming him in any way. I just know that from experience that would be appropriate for me to have it earlier, because I remember it would have been more fun to be able to run around the oval with my old man playing footy and doing stuff like that, which wasn't going to be the case because he was too old for it by the time I got to that age. So yeah, you're right. The mid-20s, always a good idea. If that's where you want to go with your life. I mean, I hear a lot of the kids nowadays are all saying, no, not going to do it, can't afford it, not right. Well, you know what? It's never going to be right. It's never going to be affordable. It's always going to be a surprise, and it's usually a good one. It's always a blessing to have them. And so when we had our first couple, we decided, obviously, that's the same case for us. We could both go through an education and become brain surgeons before we have our kids, but it's not the way we went, and I'm glad we made that decision early. Alright, we're getting close to finishing our floor. I think we just need one tree there and maybe a bit of clearing there. Hopefully I won't need to, I won't have any issues putting anything down. I'm not going to do that with that, I'm going to do it with an axe. Once I've done that, I'm going to get rid of these sticks real quickly by putting all the walls and all the roof on. I'm just going to go with a 3x3, I think, for now. No, there's never a perfect time for it. Even when you say perfect, there's never a good time. There's never an appropriate time. A good time and an appropriate time is just as difficult to find in the way of adolescence, as you see, or to have children, as it is to be perfect for it. As I say to everyone, you put your precautions in place, but if it was meant to be, it's going to happen. You know, things can break, things don't aren't as you know, contraceptive as they say they are, and it just happens. It's not a bad thing. You know, we went through a situation where our last was not expected at all, but she's one of the biggest blessings we've ever had. And we honour the day that she came along, and still do today. So, yeah, as I say, always count your blessings, because there's never enough in life. There's always someone a lot worse off than you are. Always. Bringing a child into a great environment is fairly rare when it comes to what happens in the world sometimes. But I don't put a bad bleak thing into the stream, so I'll move along from that one. Let's see how we go. Can we go to the last one in yet? Not quite yet. What's in the way? Is there something in the way, or is it too much of an angle? Oh, geez, I really hope it's just something in the way, because otherwise that would be a perfect place for everything to be. Let's go. Hit the ground a few times around the place. The mushroom there, I think. Is that what that is? Gather. Whatever it is, I can't get it. Might be another relog. Might be. That's alright. And these are just the small bugs that I found. Yeah. Yeah, that same happened in my family. We had some of them saying, can't afford it, can't be done. But it's not my immediate family, it's my family-in-law. So I'm glad to say is not the case for us. I don't think this actually exists, I'm not getting anything from it. I'll go down here and hopefully not disconnect. Get rid of the stockpile. I don't think I've got a lot of stockpile left in here to get rid of the trees that I've got. No, that's full. Dang, nabbit. Let's see if we can put that up. No, can't do it. Okay. Alright, we're going to log out again real quick. I know it takes a while, but that's just how it is. Yes. Got some people outside my window talking, if you can hear that. Caps lock's off still, which is good. So all this is all part of the game too. I have to say the splash screens and the artwork is fantastic. The person that's done this has really got a gift. Some of this artwork, it's really nice. Like there is bison and there's teepees like this in the game. You can, however, come in as an Indian and make teepees instead of houses. And this is probably closer to the desert, closer to the ocean than up where I am. I'm really looking forward to getting back on a horse in this game and just doing a lot of exploration to see what all the different biomes are. Apparently there's 4 major biomes in this game, so which is keeping up with Ark. Yeah. Yes, it can be a bit of a trial to chop down a tree, but I think if you're keen on being able to look after your family and provide, you will work your hardest to make them comfortable. I often think that as well. I said to the missus the other day, she says, what would you ever want to do? So I'd love to move to a place where it takes at least an hour to walk there. You can't get there by car, and you've got to make everything from scratch. Like all you have is an axe. And you start from scratch and go from there. I know it's a bit of a stretch because she said, "Oh, you know, what would you eat? And I said, I eat whatever I kill, whatever I bring home. And she says, well, you starve to death then, because she knows I'm not much of a hunter. And she's probably right in some respects, but you know, you get desperate in situations like that, and I'm sure that you'll be able to make amends, make it work possibly. Let's see what happens. Walls foundation's down there. No, oh, here we are. We've got something come up though. There's a couple of rings there. What's that? That's that thing that I couldn't chop down before. Okay. Gone. Well, no, there's rock here. Do I have to get rid of that? I'll get rid of it anyway. Alright, let's try that out. So, bam. There we go. So we found ourselves a bug. The bug is sometimes there's stuff there that you can't see. You just need to log out and log back in again. Alright, so now we're going to go up onto here. We're going to start making some walls. Morally tough. Yeah, it would be. Although I've done it for a while in my life. The older you get, the older generation you come across, the more apparent that is. Now, what are we going to do? We're going to do a doorway in the front. Because it's such a scenic area, we're going to put a doorway in the front. And we're going to put a wall either side, a window either side. Back to E again. Windows, probably part of a wall. There we are. Well, there's two different windows. I didn't notice that before. Now that noise there is clicking in and out. So because I've got the actual build menu up, as soon as I hit E, as you can see down the bottom there, it will change the tool to snap or not snap. So I can actually non-snap something. So I can put it like in the middle of the wall like that. If I hit snap, it'll only snap to the wall that's there or on the edges of the thing. That's just by tapping it. Large window frame. Well, I'm going to go with a larger window frame on the front because nothing's going to come through the front. It's just going to be a lot more glass to build. What am I going to do on the side? Nothing's going to come through there, so not only those a large and a large. Then we're going to put a small wall, no, doorway. Is there a large doorway? I didn't even look. Oh, there is a large doorway. What would I need to oh no, that would be to put livestock in there, so I'll do that with a barn or something. Put that there. Or however, a mansion, you know, if you're going to build a mansion. Which I may do later. Small windows either side. So yeah, I've never played Rust, so that's interesting. You should say that. The game's never interested me, only because of the fact that it is really only player against player. So that is really interesting to me. How that is. I'm gonna put a wall there. Should I put a wall on that side? Yeah, I'm gonna put walls. I think. Just plain walls. Be happy with that, I think. So many sticks. I haven't stopped painting since I've been doing this. Alright, let's get rid of that. So how's that look? That looks pretty cool. I like that. We're facing the water. And so with this one, again, just to reiterate what you're talking about with Rust, if I was to put my construction hammer in my hand, because I've got a bit of wood here, you start hitting away at it whilst you have, we'll do the floor first, whilst you have wood in your inventory. Go over here, let's go on blue, we start hitting. And so there's a number somewhere, I can't see it at the moment. Where's the number going to? In order to build, oh yep, I need to make sure I've selected it. So this is all your different things. So here we are. You can either repair. We are building already. You can go clay, wood, or logs, wood, stone, brick, and concrete. So at the moment we're just going to go wood. The wood cabin in the forest looks really cool. 68 done. So there's a floor. Next floor. This is what all this wood's going to be for. All the wood is good for the floor. No, sorry. What the wood is good for is the floor art. Give up freestyler. There we go. Making sure that everything's in the same direction. Not that it really worries me anymore. I did with the last house. Doesn't really faze me this time around. But you'll notice that even though it looks like just the floor, it does take a little while. The next hammer is better, like it's quicker. So here we go. So there's the floor there. We get in the front here, you see on reflection, it actually has stilts and you can get in there. If you're lucky enough. Well, actually, sometimes you actually spawn through the floor and you end up in there, so it just comes down to how bad the lag is at the time. I think it's only 2 or 3 hits with the good hammer, like a proper building hammer. It's just because we're using just a primitive sort of hammer to do it with. It takes a bit longer. I don't really need to do this. I just want to get rid of the stupid panting instead of going stockpiling it. So I can continue on making my roof. No, that's it. We're out of wood. Okay, that's cool. We'll go back inside. And we'll switch back over to our development. There we go. Let's go ceiling. Roof. Ceiling. Unless we want to make a double story. Tempting, but I can't see the point. Most things that are really large end up being built outside. Now the other thing importantly to note with this game is that even though I have snap points on, as you can see, it looks pretty much like I'm snapping it in the right place. I found that it can sometimes, however, snap over one. It looks like we've got a save happening. Bang. You can snap over one, which is really annoying because by the time you finish and you put it down this side and you're standing over the other side, it overlaps and you're like, what's going on here? What could possibly make that do that? And that's what it is. It's just that you just have to be careful when you put the start spot down when you're building to make sure that it does build in the right place. Yeah. So does it take a long time in Rust as well to build? I would imagine that the scavenge for parts is not the same where you just go in and get yourself half a dozen trees. You've got to go and get like galv, iron and stuff like that, I think, don't you? Just from memory. Now on the top there, I can only put a roof at the top of this, so I'm going to do that. Ceiling. Oh, got a trapdoor up there. Even nice I can do that. In the walls. No, it's not. What am I doing? It's on there. Flat roof. Join that on there. Now let me. Yeah, PvP, yeah. That makes sense. There we go. And we're going to make a wall. Just there. Another wall in the bush. And now we're going to put little edges on them. These. That. And that. And that. So there we go, we've got our internal walls all done. Well, internal walls, our house of sticks. Which still stops you from going out. Doesn't stop a lot of wildlife though. I think it degradates pretty quickly. So now comes the tedious task. And normally at this point in time I will start with the cache box first. Well, I shouldn't call it cache box, it's my stash. Get a little wood out of that first. Swap it with twigs because we don't really need any more of those in a hurry. Which I think we might find that we'll be using one of those stockpiles just for sticks after a while. We'll see how many of these we can carry. So we can go back to filling in our walls. Probably a bit too many, but that's alright, we've got a bit of time. Well, again, at the start of the stream, I'm not sure if you're there the whole time, I think you were. At the start of the stream, they were saying that they've improved it with Alpha 12, which there's, I guess that's 12 updates they've done, orientated towards not being such a tedious task of having to grind as much so quickly. So I can imagine what it would have been like before that or previous to that patch. I can get through the window here, by the way. There we go. If this is long and tedious for you now, I just imagine what that would have been like then with the previous patch, being that the people were complaining about it being too much grinding. So I don't think it's too bad, honestly. It's only about, like, I don't know, 15, 20 hits to do it. The walls are a bit quicker, I think. There's less on the walls, less on the ceilings. I think it's always a good idea to do that and then make a bed, and then you can do whatever you want to. Whenever you're dead, you can always spawn in the house on the bed. Same as Ark. So you were saying before, how long have you got before the baby arrives, did you say? Sorry, I know you probably typed that in here. Partner, is it 17 weeks along, I think I read up there? I go by months, so I'm not really sure how long 17 weeks is. We know 9 months. I'm pretty bad like that. So yeah, these windows look. September. There you go. What's the cravings she got so far? Has she had any cravings? Or has she been reasonably sick? Or do you know the sex of the baby? It's a pretty cool window. But I wish I did that before. Salted fried capsicum. Mate, I tell you, some of these are really good, some of them. When my wife was pregnant with our first, which is the one that was in just earlier, asking about how hot it was in here, she craved Doritos, corn chips, and just out of irony, she came out a redhead. I don't think that's any kind of correlation there. It's just, I think it's just quite ironic. So mine really didn't have any really weird cravings. But every pregnancy was very different. You know, one was she was just sick all the time. One was she was just carried so well, you know, like felt good a lot. Or one of them was just no energy at all the time. Just like it's sapping her for different things, like more folate in one of them and iron in the other. And yeah, just got to keep on top of all of the important things like blood tests and stuff like that to make sure everything's healthy. I'm sure it'll all go fine. Yes, I did. Always the late drive somewhere. Always something you've got to get. When I have a craving, mate, That's all we're for when they're having that, outside of helping them lift and move and housework. We are the couriers of the pregnancy duration. And you don't feel really bad, but you do feel quite helpless in the delivery rooms as well. But there's nothing you can do about that. You can only just make it comfortable and do what you can. I got caught in a headlock once. That's the stupidest thing I could have done. Got too close to her while she was pushing, so it was a headlock, and almost broke bones in my hands. So you got to always make sure you've got the ability to be able to step away and not get stuck. It's a bit like being with a wrestler. You know, you can't lend yourself to being in a situation where you can't get out of it. Yeah. The first two we went to, the Americans call Lamar classes or breathing classes. That made a big difference. You only need to go to one or two. I think we only went to one to understand what to expect and how to breathe and how to make things a little bit easier. Give you tools to cope with some pretty heavy pain or the drive-in and all sorts of stuff. I felt that was quite important with our first, and I'm really glad I attended those with couples and stuff. Always good to share, I think, when it comes to dramatic situations like that. So you're in the city. You're lucky. I mean, I'm up in the country. I'm about 50 k's from Adelaide. So if I wanted to go get something munchy wise, I've got a lot further to go than you have. You know, I'm not trying to measure things up here. It's just, yeah, we've always been country kids, and there's always been that possibility of home birthing in Sue, but it never happened. Especially the second to last one. It was a very quick birth. All of ours have actually been quite quick, which is we've been really lucky with, as my wife's pointed out. My sister's had horrendous ones like 36-hour labours and all that sort of stuff. The longest I think we had was about, 5 or 6 hours or something like that. So I can't complain about that. That's for sure. Yeah, OTR. You didn't have OTRs in our day. Sound like an old fart when I say things like that. But it's the truth. Did have however, all-night chemists and stuff when we needed to. But that's so there is a button for that. What did I do to get rid of that? Look, that's auto-run. You don't want to do that. Let's get that out of the way. That is a grid that you can turn on and off. I'm trying to think how I turned that on. There we are. It's a tilde button. Turns the grid on. Now, I'm not entirely sure about the situation of why that is. Why did we have to have a grid there? I think the grid is also handy if you're going to build as well. I can't grab all of it. Speaking of which, do I have any more points? Because I think I've leveled a few times. 3 more, nice. Gets me up to 480 pound. Long way from my real physical weight, but you know. Actually, no. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's not a fair way from it. What am I saying? Let's try not to break this hammer. Didn't know we had one foundation still to go. Thought we finished it. Looks like I started but never finished it. Where are we at? We've got all the walls done. It's dark, so it's hard to say. Let's put on the light. Yeah, all walls are done. Let's go start doing the ceiling. That's the best part about doing all the building at night time. You don't have to worry too much about going out and getting stuff. You much build through the night. And as you can see, it's a bit quicker to do the roofs and the walls. kind of glad I actually did build a house in such a populated part there, because I remember when I did my first one, I was struggling to get the wood I needed. This one here, I think I've got all the wood I need and more, which is good. Not that I think I'll keep those at the front, those acacias. I think I'll move them, or deconstruct them anyway. Anyway, mate, gotta go tick off. Partner wants me up early to help her with yard work, mate. Well, you're a lucky man out in the sun. I don't know what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. Should be good, hopefully. Yeah, no worries, man. You stay tuned. I'll be back on probably tomorrow at the same time, same bat channel. Hopefully with a camera that works. I'll keep that charging overnight. I really do appreciate you coming along to watch. It's good to have company when you're doing these things. It gets a bit boring talking to yourself. And I think I'll probably log out myself. What are we looking at? We're looking at 2.5 hour stream, so I won't be too far that I'll be off as well, mate. So hopefully this helps you with the game. It's quite good. And thanks again for coming. Cheers, buddy. Thanks, babe. So finishing up this roof, which I have a lot of wood for because I've picked such a dense part of the forest to build in. You can see some trees are even enveloping my roof still. But you know, I find that this is probably the best part of survival games that I like, building houses. I don't know what it is. Whenever we did Ark, I'd always build like a castle, a massive castle, or a big underground cave system. As opposed to, you know, trying to tame the wildest animal, the biggest one, or the biggest dinosaur and stuff like that. Still did it, but wasn't my game. Wasn't what I played for. But again, that's the same with every game. It's really good. If they can cover the genres, they'll get people in. If you look at World of Warcraft as a perfect example. Some people go in there to play against each other. Some play against the survival clock. Some of them go against the auction house. And even some of them just go in to play fishing. Because you have the fishing option in there, just a placid sort of game. We've got all those sorts of things that brought it all into the one. They're going to mass the crowd. They're going to love playing it. A good, well-rounded game. It's got plenty of facets that keep all sorts of different people happy and occupied, I think. Do I have any sticks? I don't do. Oh, I do have. All right. I'm going to put a front porch there, I think. Let's go back to our clipboard. E. Let's go with floors and foundations. Let's go with floor. Try and put a floor in the front there, like that. No, not like that, because that's in the wrong place. Let's get our hammer out and deconstruct. Number 3. Right click to deconstruct. Back to the clipboard. Somebody here by the sound of it. The dogs are. A dog is having a bit of fun with it. One there. And there. Nice. I'll go around that side and build those and put a little rail around and everything. No. Yes, I got that one the wrong way around, so I'm going to knock that one back out. The flow is wrong. Can we do it with this button? I think we can do it with this too, can't we? Bit of a... I think it's quicker with the other thing though. Let's go with that. Yeah, it definitely felt like it was quicker. Alright, let's go back to our clipboard. Make sure things are going in the right direction this time. There we go. Cool bananas. Now, can I make a balustrade? I think I can. Other accessories. There we are. Don't need to worry too much about putting a door in the front now. What I'll do is I'll just do that for now, I think. 7. No, I want number 3. There we go. We have now a house with a balustrade at the front. We will make 2 doors. Can I make 2 doors or not? Just 1 door. Enough wood for 2. No, I don't. I've only got one. Enough for 1. Interesting. Okay, let's get that up here. The door in. It's going to go. Is your door going to go in there? Door. Let's have some lights so I can see where I'm going. Okay, look out here. Do something with the backyard. She's looking pretty bad. Nothing a bobcat couldn't fix. I'll get some more wood. And we'll go back up there and make that last door. It'll make us a little bit more safe and sound. Cool. Already making it by the look of it. I see there's a bit of a bug there, obviously. I had to cancel and resume it in order to make the actual door. That out. That'll be gone by tomorrow. And last door. 5. Done. There we go. Now we've got doors in there, even though no, that's not possible to go through that window much, so don't think we have trouble with that. I won't be able to get through those windows, they're off the ground, so I think we're pretty good. I reckon that is all we will do today. Thanks for everybody coming along. It has been a fantastic ride, and we will see you again. Sorry about the camera phasing out.